Hey guys, we're back today with my buddy Dustin playing what deck?
Trap Monsters.
Trap Monsters. So let's get into the deck profile here.
Alright. Yeah, get Josie off of there. I run 3 card. You don't really normal summon a lot in this deck, so this is probably one of the best options just to give you pluses. You never really have to worry about going into battle phase unless you're already set up. So card's just probably one of the best options for drawing.
Better first turn.
I run 2 Uriah because of the amount of trap monsters that I run. He's a good beater. He's not the main purpose of the deck, which is why I only run 2. I did try it at 3 and tried to revolve it around Uriah, but he just wasn't. He was too cloggy, wasn't really as consistent as I wanted him. I run 2 Veilers, not only for stopping my opponent, but it gives me synchro plays, and the access to synchro monsters in this deck is amazing because all of the levels are different, so I never really have to worry about not having the correct level. It's all in all just better on you. It's all around just better, just for both purposes. 2 max Cs because of the way the format's going. Almost everything special summons, whether it's from Monarchs to Cosmos to Pepe, it really doesn't matter. Everything here special summons, so 2 max Cs, even if it stops my opponent, it still helps me. Now I run 3 Meta Reflect Slimes just because it's a big wall and it allows overlay access for rank 10s, which are overlooked quite a bit. Nobody really thinks about rank 10s as being competitive at all, but they really just, like, I've won games just because of being able to go into rank 10s with 3 Meta Reflects, or even a Meta Reflect in Uriah. Really strong. All around, the best card of the deck is Statue of Anguish Pattern. He's a 2500 defense wall, plus he's a level 7, which gives rank 7 access for Big Eye and even other options. When he's on the field and another trap monster is summoned, he targets and destroys 1 card your opponent controls. So it doesn't matter if it's a monster or a spell and trap, it will destroy it. Plus another perk that he has is if him and another face-up trap monster are on the field, he cannot be targeted by my opponent's card effects. All around, just the best card in the deck.
Pretty good.
I'll talk to you about it then. Okay. We'll go over the whole game if you want to play, because I got 2 minutes.
Biggest main deck beater is Abyss Stunray. He's 1900 attack, level 5 light, cannot be destroyed by battle. Not only does he allow for stall game, but with my opponent having a clear field, 1900 is a big chunk to take from my opponent.
Oh yeah.
2 Tiki Soul, mainly for the fact that it allows me to go into rank 4s. He's not bad as a stall card with 1800 defense, and his effect's not terrible either. With him on the field and another trap card on the field, if the other trap monster would be destroyed, this allows it to be reset instead. So, it's not the most ideal, but at the same time it can be really great. Opens up a lot of plays, like I said, rank 4 plays, which are obviously some of the strongest ranks in the game. 2 Zama. Now Zama's kind of a different kind of card. I run it for the rank 4s. He specials in defense, and when he's destroyed by battle, it inflicts damage to my opponent equal to the attack of the monster that destroyed it. So what's really cool about Zama is even though he's a level 4 dark monster with things like Shadow Imprisoning on the field or even Majesty's Fiend, if they attack into him and he's destroyed, when he hits Grave, he's now a trap card, so the effect still activates to burn your opponent. He's really helpful and he's really stally. It causes your opponent to think twice before doing anything. I've had a lot of controversy with this card, Imperial Custom. I've wanted to run 3, but when testing 3, it just was really cloggy. It didn't help a lot. And I felt like just having the 2 option is amazing because I don't need it every time I play the deck. If you don't know what it does, face-up continuous trap cards cannot be destroyed except for Imperial Custom, and you can only control 1 face-up Imperial Custom. Not a bad card, just a little cloggy.
You can't even do it.
Another really good tech card in the deck is Lose One Turn. I've heard a lot of people say that Lose One Turn is not really good in the deck because you constantly control a special summon monster. Well, if you get this card early on, it's really good because it can stop your opponent and it only changes your monsters to defense position on their turn if that's when you're special summoning them. You're not really going to be special summoning a lot on your turn, so this card really doesn't hurt you a whole lot because most of these have big defenses anyways. Lose One Turn's probably one of the second best cards in this deck. This is actually one of my favorite cards in the deck. It's a new card from Wing Raiders. Booby Trap E. Discard one card, set one continuous trap card from your hand or graveyard to your side of the field, and it can be activated the turn that this card is set. Set it. It really helps. It can be really cloggy, and if you open up with it in your opening hand, it's pointless to have, but at the same time running two just for the option really opens up a lot of different plays. You can set your Lose One Turn right back to the field, statue to set back on the field if you want to get some extra pops. I mean, it opens up so many more plays just to have these two cards.
I remember the most relevant shit.
3 Fiendish Chains. So even though that I run the Veilers, the Fiendish Chains actually help a lot because they are continuous trap cards, which means I can set them with Booby Trap E, I can send them with Uriah, and they can also be protected by Imperial Custom. So they do help quite a bit. They can be cloggy at 3, which is why I run the Veilers. I'm actually thinking about taking one out and putting a Solemn Warning in, but I haven't really come to a conclusion on that yet. Really good card, a lot of versatility with it. Never a bad option. Now we move on to the spells. 3 Pot of Duality. Like I said before, you're not going to be really special summoning on your turn, so this really hurts you none, if any at all. It opens up a lot of plays because it lets you dig for what you need. If you can get this and card off in the same turn, it's a huge push because even if you're not pushing your opponent's getting overwhelmed by the number of cards that you have in your hand. So, really good card. Nothing bad comes from this card. 3 Upstarts just for the draw power because you always run into clogginess in this deck. So, with this, it really helps to get through your deck faster. Even though you have the cards and the dualities, this helps you get through it a lot faster. It's not a bad card to draw into. It's good for an opening hand, and a lot of the times the 1,000 attack or 1,000 life points rather don't really harm you at all because you're eventually just going to beat your opponent down.
Oh yeah, praise Hogan.
2 Magic Planner. I used to run 3 of this card, but as I went on, opening it just wasn't really helpful. Having 2 is amazing just for the simple fact that I get 4 draws off of it. It helps me get stuff off of my field that's problematic. Like, if Lose One Turn's in my way, I can just send it with this. If Imperial Custom's in my way, I can send it with this. This helps me get rid of a lot of my own problematic cards, and it does come up quite a bit. And the last cards are 2 MSTs, kind of self-explanatory. Always spell and trap removal, never a bad card.
All right, so why no skill drain?
No skill drain for the simple fact that skill drain kind of ruins the deck. It stops Spider from having his effect. Pretty much these cards right here are the reasons why there's no skill drain.
Sacrifice.
Those cards right there. Now, even though I said I don't really use his effect all that much, it does come in handy, but with skill drain on the field, it becomes completely null, so there's no point in even having it. And again, like I said, rank 4 plays, rank 5 plays, rank 7 plays. With skill drain on the field, I literally cannot do any of that. Skill drain kills this, and you know, I'm not sure, I haven't got a ruling on it, but I'm pretty sure that it stops him from being destroyed by battle too. Skill drain just gets in the way a lot of the times, even though I can get rid of it with cards like MST or Magic Planner. It's just not it's not fun to have to rely on something that I only run so few of in the deck when I have more of these.
And you also lose one turn.
Yeah, lose one turn definitely helps. I feel like lose one turn is honestly just a better skill drain because it stops them for one turn versus having to worry about getting rid of it. It doesn't stop me as much just for one turn.
All right, let's move on to extra deck.
All right. So every single one of these is one-ofs. I'm gonna go through it kind of quick, so it doesn't last too long. Diamond Crab King, he's a big beater and he's a big wall. One of my main rank 4s. Starleash Palydynamo, for the simple reason that if I do have 2 Tiki Souls on field, he's never a bad choice to have. Honor Arc gets rid of those problematic monsters. Heartland Draco. In my sideboard, I run Necro Valley, and with Necro Valley and him on the field, it's kind of hard for especially Monarch players to get around it. But at the same time, it's not impossible. He's just a really good card all in all. Gem Knight Pearl, just a really good beater.
Dodge's Fiendish Chain.
That too. Abyss Dweller, stop the Cosmo players, stop the Monarch players. It really helps in this meta. Constellar Pleiades, he is actually really good in this deck. I didn't even think about him at first. A friend of mine actually had to point him out to me. Abyss Stingray is a level 5 light, so 2 Abyss Stingray can actually go into this, and it's really strong. It gets rid of problematic cards, and it's just honestly one of my favorite extra deck monsters.
I gotcha.
Gaia Dragon, if I'm sitting on an empty Pleiades, or if I have 2 statues, this is just never a bad option to go into. Piercing damage is amazing in this meta. Number 11, Big Eye. Big Eye is arguable one of the best rank 7s. I love Big Eye. I don't like having to get rid of 2 of my spiders to get to it, but if this is what wins me the game, then by all means I will do it. Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. That is a mouthful. He does 2,000 burn damage, plus he's a 3,000 beater, and his effects never stops him from attacking. So if I have Uriah and Meta Reflect on field, I can enter battle phase, attack with Uriah at whatever his power is at the time. Main phase 2, overlay the Meta Reflect and the Uriah for Gustav Max, and just deal 2,000 extra damage. It's never a bad card. It always kind of, flunks my opponent because they don't really expect me to go into XYZs in this deck.
Oh yeah.
Now, Super Dimensional Robot Galaxy Destroyer. This is a card that I very rarely ever go into. I love to be able to get him out. He requires 3 level 10 monsters, which is a Uriah and 2 Meta Reflex, or 3 Meta Reflex altogether. He's got 5,000 attack, and he's a heavy storm. He destroys all spells and traps my opponent controls. He's never a bad card to go into. He is kind of controversial. I don't know that I would, ever really go into him in super competitive play at YCS or anything like that.
Have you ever gone into him before?
I have, and it's won me many of games, but he's so conditional that the extra deck spot just might be a little more valuable than the condition that he costs. On to Synchros. I run Ally of Justice Catastor because a lot of decks nowadays aren't really running dark monsters. I mean, Cosmos is a thing, and obviously Monarchs are a thing. But if I ever run into a rogue deck, there's not many that run dark monsters. He's just a good level 5 synchro option with any of my level 4s and Valor. So I figured why not run him.
Yeah.
And obviously the other good level 5 are Maidens. And then again for Valor and my level 4s, even though rank 4s are amazing, these 2 cards just cannot be beat. Trishula and Mistworm. Mistworm actually won me a game here tonight at Locals. I love this card, and I love this card. They're just both used in 2 completely different situations. If I need to get stuff off the field, this is what does it. If I need to get rid of stuff everywhere, this is what does it. I mean, Valor being used on my opponent's turn to stop them is amazing, but that's what I have Fiendish Chain for. Valor honestly opens up so much more potential with tuning into these guys. It's just, they're amazing. They've won me games. They've cleared fields. I cannot complain about these 2 cards right here.
And you rarely ever normal summon, so it's not like you're wasting your turn or anything.
Exactly. Normal summoning Valor is not a bad thing in this deck. This is Dustin Dominy, and that's my trap monsters.
All right, thank you, Dustin.
Firelight.